It's engine service time on Pompey Chimes, so I'm just warming up the engine so we can see we're starting to get a bit of temperature in the oil there. I don't know if you can read it, but the hours are on 3997.3, and the previous owners were brilliant because they've kept a complete log of all the engine servicing. This is for an Isuzu Marine. I think it's a 42. I've got all the information for the engine, so I can get all the right bits and pieces. But they've even got all the part numbers of all the oil filters, air filters, diesel filters, and stuff like that. So I'm just warming the engine up now, and then we'll get on and give this engine a service and see what else we can do as well. So today's job is to replace the air filter, oil filter, diesel filters. There's two. There's one just there, which is this one here, and then there's another one there, which is like a water separator. It's been about 230 hours since the last time the oil was changed, so recommendation is every 250 hours, so we're within the time to do that, but I want to do it before we head off down to our next trip, which is going to be 2 weeks on this. So I want to just give it a bit of love, show it some attention, and then see, make sure it's all as it should be. Whilst I'm there, I'll give it a good look around, make sure there's no leaks or anything, make sure all the Jubilee clips are nice and tight. Just give it a bit of a once over really, because I've not really looked at this engine much. It's also got a PRM 150 gearbox down there. I'll check the oil on that. Can't find any record of that being changed anywhere, so we might even look at changing that as well. Let's see how we get on. So the first job then is to get the old oil out. So these engines are fitted with this plunger style arrangement, which links to the bottom of the sump. So obviously you can't get to the underneath of the engine because it's so hidden away underneath here. So yeah, what you need to do is just turn this valve here so it allows oil to be pumped out. And then I'm just going to get my container here, put it underneath the tap, and then just plunge away until it all comes out. So the oil's out. I've tightened up the shut valve on the plunger. So now to do the oil filter. Now these should be hand tight. But we'll see. Sometimes people tweak them up too much, or over time they get too tight. So I have got one of my chain tools that I can use. I've also got a receptacle here to catch all the oil and the filter itself, and I've also got a load of blue rag down there as well. I will try it by hand first just to see if it is hand tight. Oh yeah, that's come off nice. Wasn't expecting that. So what I need to do is just get this in here as best I can, and then out it will come, catching all that oil that's in the filter, and then out it comes like that. Just going to hold it there for a second just to catch any drips and residual bits. Oh, mind your head, Jace. Joys of working in a confined space. So I've got the new filter. I've run some oil around the O-ring there just to make sure that it's lubed up and goes on nicely. Just going to make sure the old O-ring is not on the mating surface. It's not. So just going to give that a bit of a clean round, and then the new one goes on. Right. So new filter's on, and I'm just going to get a bit of clean rag and then wipe round it. So I've got a little bit of oil on the outside of that. So it should only be hand tight, this. And there we go. So I'm just going to clean up any residual drips, and that's the oil filter done. So with the oil filter changed and the old oil out, it's time to put new oil back in. So I'm using this stuff. It's 1540, it's mineral oil. It was what was left on here by the previous owner. There's about 10 litres in here. It's a 20 litre can. It's about half full. So I'm just going to start topping it up. I don't know exactly how much I'm going to put in there just yet. I think this takes about 6 litres. So I'm going to put about 4 or 5 in, let it settle through the engine a bit, check the dipstick, and then just take it from there. So yeah, in it goes. It's all filled up to the upper part of the dipstick, but we do need to run the engine just to fill up the oil filter and make sure it's all sitting where it should be, and then we'll check it again. We let it rest for a bit. So I'm just going to start the engine up. So we've got good oil pressure, what we want to see. And then what I'll do is I'll make sure there's no leaks around the oil filter. And we'll check it in a minute. So I'm just going to wait for that oil to drain down, and then I'll check the dipstick in a minute. Next thing really is the air filter. Nice and easy, this one. Just pops off. Supposed to do these every 500 hours, but I'm not 100% sure when the last time it was done. It just says on the thing, it just says air filter checked or adjusted, but I don't know what that means really. Adjusted. It looks pretty grimy. It's worth, you know, for the sake of 10 quid or whatever it is, for 15 quid or whatever it is for a new part, it's worth putting a new one in. So I've got the correct part for this one, hopefully. Just throw it out. Looks the same, similar. So I don't think they have an orientation. They both look the same on both sides. So that just slots into there like that. The old one, then that just pops back on. There we go, nice and easy. So the next job is going to be these fuel filters. Now this one here should be fairly straightforward. I'm guessing it's like an oil filter. This one here looks a little bit more involved. Not quite sure how this one works. And as I understand it, it's a water separator as well. But I'm not sure how it all comes apart or how it all goes together. When I look at the replacement filter, there's no thread on it, so I'm not quite sure what's holding it all together, but we're about to find out. So let's see how we get on with this one. So as I understand it, this here, which I had to loosen off with some pliers, is where you drain the water off, if there is any. I'm not 100% sure how all this works, but we're going to find out. Like I say, I've never done diesel filters before. Worked on plenty of petrol cars and stuff, but never. There's nothing in there. That's completely empty. So I'm guessing there's no water in there, which is a good thing. So I'm going to put that back for a moment until I can get the rest of it off and find out how it all comes apart. So there's nothing underneath. I had to get my phone and put it in mirror mode so I could see underneath it. There's nothing underneath there. There's a couple of bolts on top of here. This one here is quite central, so I'm wondering if this is a long bolt that goes down and then just clamps the whole thing together. So we're going to try and take this off. See what this does. Yes, that's loosened that up, so I'm wondering if that's going to come. Now, I'm guessing this is full of diesel, so I've got a little bowl underneath there to try and catch as much as possible. Yeah, plenty of diesel. You're catching it all, I think. So I have turned the diesel off at the main tap so that it's not going to keep filling up, which probably sounds quite obvious, but oh, there's a lot of sludge and gunk and stuff in there. Nasty. So you can see all the gunk in there. Look, I have to give that a good old clean out. So what I'm going to do now is get this filter off. I'm guessing that just pulls out. Yeah, it does. So it looks the same as the one I'm about to put back in it, so that's good. Now I'm looking for O-rings and stuff. Yeah, there's one underneath there. So I'm going to replace that one. And there's one in the bowl chamber here. So I'm going to change that one over too. So the good thing about doing this is you start to understand it a bit more. So I've been using my phone with the camera on it just to check the underside. The underside's really clean, and I've just replaced, there's an O-ring up in there, and I can use the camera just to see that it's been seated. I can also see there's a little hole here, which I'm guessing is what this is for, and I'm guessing that this is a bleed valve of some sort. So it's one that's going to, once I get all this set back up, I can undo this. That'll allow the fuel to run in, air to come out and bleed it, I'm guessing. So next thing really is to put it all back together. The other thing that happened was in here there was a good ½ inch, probably a bit more, probably about 3/4 of an inch of brown sludge in the bottom. And then this, I'm guessing it's just like a water set where the water comes out. So I'm guessing the fuel floats on top of the water, so when you undo this, what comes out is water first. When I undid this earlier and nothing came out, it was because it was so much gunk around here, there was no way it could come out. So yeah, that's the story behind that. So new gaskets all round, and then there's a little bit of diesel on them just to sort of lubricate them a bit. I don't know if you need to do that or not, but this goes in. That's the other way the other one came out, and then I'll get my bolt back in. So that goes into there. This one slides up underneath it, and the whole thing just compresses back together again. So it's very straightforward when you know how. I like finding out about things. I like learning new stuff and seeing how things work. So I'm going to position that so that it's this valve here. We can undo that, get to it easily, and then tighten up the bolt to hold it all together. So it's got new gaskets all round, which is good. I want to over tighten it, but also want to make sure that it is tight enough that it isn't going to go anywhere, not going to leak. And then when I fill that up, I'll be able to undo this one here, I think, and then that'll let the air out. When I start seeing fuel come out, I can lock it off, and that'll bleed that. So I think that's that one done. So now move on to the actual fuel filter for the engine. So this one, completely opposite to the oil filter. This was so tight, you can see where it's dented the filter itself, trying to get it off. Really, really tight, that one. I'm going to try and put a pot underneath just to catch any diesel that might come out. Get it as close as I can. But yeah, that was mega tight. Way too tight. The trouble I've got is that it's not easy to get in there. So I don't know if the diesel ones have to be tighter than the oil ones. I didn't think so, but let's try undoing that. that's all good. Wow, that was a job. So let's get this. There we go. My hands are covered in diesel, so it's covering the filter in diesel, so I need a bit of good old blue rag just to give it all a bit of a good clean up. Now this one I'm just going to do it hand tight, because I think that's what you're supposed to do with these. And then I'm going to check it for leaks. That old one, getting that off, that was really tight, to the point where I thought it was going to deform the filter so much I wouldn't be able to grip it. There we go. So that's hand tight, as much as I can get it with my hand in there. It's not the most comfortable of places to try and get your hand. This is my left hand and I'm right-handed. Right, that's diesel filter done. So what I need to do now is try and bleed through where the oil separator is, and then we'll try and start it up, see if it works. So we've got the fuel line back open again. I've opened up this breather and nothing's coming out, so I'm guessing I've got to do something with the engine to get that to bleed through. So I'm just going to chuck that back into there. Now when you look at this set up here, there's a return pipe, this one here, that goes all the way back round and into the tank. So I'm guessing, because there's no way of bleeding anything on here, I can't, I'm guessing I'm going to have to try. I'm guessing this is a self-bleeding one. So with these, I think if you just chuck it onto, the pump starts pumping. So I can hear a pump pumping. Right, not quite sure what I've done there. I think I might cock this up. As I understood it, it's supposed to be self-bleeding. Maybe I've got to fill this up with fuel before I do that. I'm not sure. Now I have got a siphon. I could siphon some out, put it into there, and then fill this up as well. So as you can hear, I've got it going. Well, what I did was I closed off this again, because I'm guessing when I was trying to pump it through with the electric pump, it was just dragging air rather than dragging fuel. So I shut that off, just let it sit pumping for a bit, and then you could hear the pump change when fuel started getting into it rather than air. Then when I started up, it started on the button. So yeah, and it's running nicely now. It revs okay. So yeah, really pleased we got that sorted. Getting a bit worried there for a moment. So the good old British weather. In between doing this filter and this filter here, it absolutely threw it down the rain. Hence there's all the water in the bilge. Yeah, it took me about 5 minutes to get the cover back on so that it wasn't filling up too much. It absolutely threw it down. Anyhow, I'm going to get that mopped up and then see what I want to do next. So another job I want to have a go at is this repacking of this. Now there's quite a bit of thread left on this, so I'm assuming it's down to about here somewhere, because that's how much further it would go down. This is the stern gland greaser, and I just want to have a go at it really, because I've never done it before. So I'll be using some of this grease, and apparently it's really as simple as undoing it all. So I'm just going to take this off, and that really was that loose. I've not pre-loosened that. That really was that loose. I don't know if it's supposed to be that loose or not. And then we can see the grease inside. I've seen people do this on videos where some say you should take this right out, this plunger. Some people just wind it back as I'm winding it back, you can see it sucking it back in, but some people say don't do that, but undo the whole thing, take the plunger out. So I'm going to try doing it that way. Yeah, there we go. So there's the grease. Just going to scrape that into there a minute, just so we can see that a bit better. That's better. So I'm just going to fill that up. So yeah, so it was about 2/3 empty. Just going to grab a bit of the good old blue rag, shove that down. So I don't want to get the boat greasy if I can help it. Right, so in here we've got this plastic bit, and as I push that, you can see that the grease is going to come out the middle. So literally all we do is shove that onto there and give it a good hard push, and then you can see it starting to poke out the top now. So something like that, I think. And the excess, I guess I'm just going to put back into there. Now we will get a bit more coming out because I've got to put this plunger back in. I don't think it matters which way it goes round. Can't remember which way I did it now. So we're just going to squeeze that back into there a little bit. Oh, that's it. Whiz that down. So I didn't really need to do this, but I just wanted to know what it was like, how hard it was to do if I had to do it out on the cut rather than being in a nice marina doing it. So just do that up, and then literally the whole lot screws back on like so. And yeah, that was a nice easy job. Crikey, wish they were all like that. Job done. So all I'm going to do now is just give it a good old wipe round with the rag. Might get some degrease from that as well, just to make sure. And I'm guessing it's just hand tight onto there, because that's how hard it was to undo. So there we go. I can now just get that wound in, so it's got a bit of pressure. Job done. There we go. Easy. So the last thing I want to do today, with whilst I'm in the engine bay, is to have a look at this weed hatch. So this is how you get access to the propeller. Normally it's tighter than that. I've just undone that with a mallet. We have those really tight, and then inside here we have our weed hatch. I'm going to let that drip for a bit, but you can see that the seal is all coming off. Right, let's get in here somehow. Oh. Right, let's try and get this done before it starts raining again. Keep having to stop because of the rain. There we go. So, giving this a right good clean down. Give it a brush down, wire brush down, good scrape down so it's nice and flat and clean. So, we should get a good adhesion with this stuff. So I just got this off eBay. I think it was it's 2 inches wide, so it's the right width for the metal flange that's on there. So let's just get that cut to size. So yeah, happy days. So all I've got to do now is put the weed hatch back in and tighten it down. Job's done. Having completed all the oil filter change and everything, I suppose I should fill out the engine service record log. So here we go. Job's a good one. So that's it for this episode. It's a job well done. Nice oil service, all the filters, diesel filters, oil filters, air filter. Repacked the stern gland packer, and got the rubber seal around the weed hatch as well. So yeah, really pleased with that. Didn't quite get enough time to do the gearbox oil, so still need to check that. It's only a 5-minute job to check it, so I'll just do a quick dipstick on that, make sure it's got enough oil in it, and then I might do a service on that at a later date. But yeah, really pleased with that. That's a nice day's work, and it has taken most of the day because I've been in and out of the rain, dodging the showers and then drying off, dodging the showers, drying off, etc. So, but one worth doing, especially with our trip coming up. So yeah, on to the next one. Signing it for now.